Bulabinaka, the home of Pacific Arts, is a Talanoa web series with professionals from various sectors who will share their insight around themes of cultural custodianship, Pacific research and methodologies, inclusive strategies of safeguarding our biodiversity, telling stories through visual arts, performing arts, and heritage arts, art therapy, business ventures in the midst of COVID-19, triumphs and challenges of 2020, and a hopeful 2021. From renowned scholars and educators to musicians, dancers, visual artists, this web series pays tribute to our elders and to the young people for their contribution in reimagining and recreating what it means to be a resilient Pacific Islander in these contemporary times. Welcome to the home of Pacific Arts. Pulavinaka, and welcome to the home of Pacific Arts, joining you from the Confucius Institute at the University of the South Pacific's Low Valley campus here in Suva. I am your host, Jesoni Naga, and in studio today I have three incredibly talented musicians and songwriters who will be sharing their journey. We have Inosy Vonotabuakula, we have Vasiti Nakautonga, and Josateki Nailati. Welcome, guys. Thank you very much for being here. And so to start off our conversation, or our talanoa, I'd like you to introduce yourself, your genre of music, and whether you're a solo artist or part of a group, and where you're currently based.
All right, good everyone. My name is Inosy Vonotabuakula. My genre of music is basically soul music, jazz, into blues. I'm trying to apply that into the Fijian kind of style of music, yeah. So not in a group, but currently independent. So yeah, and I'm based from the West, Lotoka.
Naga.
My name is Vasiti, but a lot people know me more as D Nakautonga. I am part of a group called Hehona, and the genre of music it's a mixture because anything that my guitar can do is more acoustic, I guess.
Nice.
And I love jazz, just like Inosy here, and I'm also into reggae, island reggae more.
More eclectic.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
Yeah, and a little bit of pop, R&B.
And so you're currently based here in Suva?
Oh yes, I am.
Perfect. Thank you, Dee.
Hi, my name is Josateki Nailati. My stage name is Josa. Genre of music, it's a mixture of pop, R&B, and soul. I'm a solo artist and I'm based in Suva because that's where I live.
Thank you, Teki. So we want to talk about, or actually I would like to talk about how your professional music started. So where did it all begin? Who was the inspiration behind it? Was it family oriented that sort of innately took you towards music? Or was it something that you discovered outside independently? So we'll start with Dee, since Dee is part of a group. We'll start with you and then we'll go on to the gentleman.
All right. Professionally, I think because I've always been a singer at home, family, like we sing at home, sing hymns and whatnot. But I think professionally it started when I moved to Suva. So I lived in Lautoka like most of my life, and I moved to Suva when I was 17. Yes, 17. And then out of nowhere, I had just started Form 6 in Suva Sangam, and out of nowhere, a guy messages me, and he's looking for a female vocalist, and he heard about me through a mutual friend, and he messaged me, asked me if I'd like to audition for a band.
Nice.
and I love to sing, so I went for it, and we met. I sang. He was impressed, and then we started like a duo kind of thing, together, and that was William Driver.
Right.
So I started out with him. We had a little group as well called Waves, and it grew. We had like another 2 vocalists come in, and then I left. I had to focus on school a little bit more, and then it just kept going. After high school, I came into USP, and then I decided to audition for Pacifica Voices. So, yeah, it slowly just grew from that. With William, we were doing small gigs here and there. Bad Dog Cafe, I did that with him like every Sunday afternoon. And then Pacifica Voices for about 2 years, and it just grew from there. And then I went on to, right after Pacifica Voices, group of friends, we met in USP here, and we decided to make, they had first decided to make their own little group, and I was still just here and there. And then a little later, we used to hang out a lot, and then they asked me if I wanted to join their group, and that's how I'm in Hehona now. And it's been Hehona since 2018, I think. Yeah.
Wow.
So
That's wonderful. Quite a journey.
yeah,
Yeah. That's good. That's great. Over to Teki.
My musical journey started ever since I was a child. Family worship in the morning, in the evening. But in terms of doing it professionally, I started quite late with Pacifica Voices. I was doing my undergrad at USP, and I joined the same choir that Dee joined, but earlier, before she did, Pacifica Voices. That's where I got professional training from Master Ete and the other, Ingelese Ete and the other MDs that were serving at that time, on and off with PV since 2012. And I've been honing my craft ever since, and I'm about to officially launch. So it's been,
Wow.
it's taken a lot to pull me out of my shell.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice. Thank you.
Well, for me, it runs in the family music, yeah? So kind of come from a musical family. But I started off in church, as most of us have started from. So singing for me wasn't actual thing until I stumbled on Kyla Starquest. This was in 2014, and I've somehow started to think that this is the path that I want to take for the rest of my life. So I professionally started in 2014, right after Kyla, and then I went to Navidi to do gigs there for almost a year. So so it started from there, and then we wrote our first song with my brother in 2018, right after our late mom passed away. And so from then, we started encouraging each other to, I think this is what we're going to do for a living. And yeah, so here I am.
Right.
Yeah.
And do you all get the same support from families and friends? Is the support, there within your close circles, your family units? Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in terms of school, do you find that in your respective schools, do teachers or maybe principals hold music to the same regard as academic programs or subjects? Sort of at the same level, or is it always like, okay, well, you're part of PMAC, and sometimes PMAC can be a free period where you catch up on other subjects, or you just absolutely do nothing. And so do you think from your various schools and experiences that music is held to the same level as those academic subjects?
Yeah. For me, from primary school through high school, that was the case for me. I went to Veuto Primary School, and the arts was very much encouraged. Music, annual dance displays. I don't think they do it anymore, but and so I think that lit a fire in me that uh, the interest, my interest in the arts and music and whatnot was captured from that from then early on because it was encouraged
Right.
in school. High school, I went to an SDA school, but since worship is part of every day, like in the morning and in the afternoons, music played a huge role in the worship sessions, so it was held to a high regard as well. Yes. So yeah, music and arts has been part of my journey from primary school through to high school.
So, yeah, I'm sorry, did anyone else
Yeah.
wanted to say anything? Okay, and seeing that all three of you sort of started off from church, right, from gospel music, do you always sometimes find yourself going back to those spaces or going back to the spiritual sort of institution and gatherings to find that inspiration to push on, whether it be through gospel music or any other genre of music? Do you feel like you always have to be sort of retracted and go back to that place where you started? And so, how important is that in terms of writing music and putting out soulful, spiritual products that people can relate to and find, solace and peace within your different genres of music?
I feel like it's a good ground, like it grounds,
grounds you, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, to be spiritually intact, you
Right.
know. And I don't know, it's been a big part for me because Hehona, we go into like we love to help out in the different churches here in Suva. So like we're very we're very connected to the churches here in Suva, so they come to us sometimes to ask for help, for us to
Right.
help out with their productions during the church productions during the year and all that. So it's a good grounding
Right.
thing for you.
Yeah, I second that. The act of singing in church or gospel music, it's praise, and we it reminds us of our need of a higher being, of God. So it definitely grounds me in terms of character building, um, pride and everything to go back to
Sort of, yeah.
that I am just an empty vessel without God and in need of His guidance and whatnot. And that really um, is the foundation that I have tried to
Right.
live up to, no matter where I go in life, to always be reminded, okay, come back down.
Right.
Come
Yeah.
back. And it gives perspective so that we don't go through life looking from our nose down and whatnot. Yeah.
The funny thing about me today, I was actually thinking of how to write a song, how to begin a new song. And then on my way here, I was actually listening to Jeff and Sherry Easter, one of the songs. Yeah, and then I think I got the perspective of what to do, or the idea what to do with the new song that I'm trying to write. So
Lovely.
yeah,
It's always going back to that
going back
space.
to that
Yeah.
space.
It
Yeah,
does.
it
It
does.
does give you perspective. Wonderful. And so, do you think, from your point of view, do you think students should be, if they have the opportunity to really pursue music, even at higher education or tertiary level, if they have a chance to, they should pursue it and not be conventional and not to conform?
I believe that, sorry, I believe that the music from Oceania, Micronesia, Polynesia, Melanesia, is special in the sense that it's sort of sacred because in times past we used the arts to tell stories, to pass on information, the
Absolutely.
the massy printing, the weaving of the mat, the stories and music that was shared around the fireplace. That's how we communicated and shared our stories. And I feel like if we tap into that sort of authenticity, like and not try to conform or like compare, because that's what separates us, makes it special,
Yeah.
in a way. And probably the reason why a lot of young people don't really pursue that is because the lack of opportunity, information, and resources. Like they don't know where to start, how to do it, the platforms to get it through to and whatnot.
Yeah. I mean, well, with that said, do you think there's enough platforms that
Y-
gives people that exposure? No.
Well, now with social media, everyone has access to that. It's just
Absolutely.
researching,
Yeah.
getting information, which is something that I did. I did extensive research before deciding to launch officially as an artist, like YouTube videos
Right.
and
Yeah.
hours and hours,
Yeah.
like which distributors to go with,
Right.
like how does the music end up on iTunes and Spotify, uh, how to launch. And I'm grateful to be part of a network of artists. It's called Road to 1 Million, where experienced artists in the industry are guiding me and advising me. And I think that's also something uh, that gives me an advantage as opposed to launching by myself. Like inexperience, not knowing what to do, is having those people beside me,
Right.
especially post-pandemic.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in terms of platforms, I feel like there's a lot of platforms. You just need to look and research.
Get out there.
Yeah.
Go look for it.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. And so, obviously, you all write your own songs. And so, how can we address, or in your view, how can we address challenges about people who remix original songs? You write a song today, you release it through social media, and then you have something that's totally remixed. So, is there a body or is there an association or a council that looks after these things? I mean, it's quite hard to sort of police this or try to um, yeah, to try to rectify it. But you know, from your own perspective and from your own experiences, I'm sure you would have gone through some of um, these cases
Yeah.
where original songs are remixed. And so, how do we address this? Yeah, I mean,
You guys go ahead.
Okay, we were just
Right.
actually talking about this before we started
yeah.
this.
right.
Okay, so you're the songwriter, okay, and your song is out there, and somehow or some way someone just came in and just remixed your song, and then without your knowledge, okay, I mean, like, in some sense, it sounds good, it's better than, but in terms of permission, you know, to get back to the original or the songwriter, the composer, just to get that
Yeah.
that understanding of.
Personally, I have no issue with remixes and whatnot, because some of them I thoroughly enjoy, while others sometimes really botch the song. But in terms of uh, in terms of permission, I really agree with that. Like, if there's an understanding, if a DJ wants to remix something, reach out to the composer, because as a songwriter, as a singer-songwriter, I pour my soul into the material.
All your ideas
Yes.
Right.
inside that.
Yeah.
It could be a day or it could be months of work, and for someone to just, take it without your knowledge, and it destroys the efforts and the work that has been put into it, and sometimes it totally takes away from the message of the song. Not everything has to be
Right.
a bop.
So where do you upload your songs where people can purchase them?
I haven't officially launched
Okay,
as an
okay.
artist, but I'm going to be um, doing it through a distributor
Right.
called TuneCore,
Okay.
and then they distribute it to
Okay.
Spotify, iTunes,
Right.
and whatnot.
Because my question was going to be, if you, for example, upload it on a platform where people can purchase this music, and you have someone who remixes this music and releases it on either YouTube or any other social media platform, how do you then get the royalties? Do you get anything out of it? You don't get anything at all because it's not going through the platform that you had uploaded your music into.
Yes,
Okay.
but that's the advantage of signing with or distributing with these distributors. They do the policing for you.
Okay.
So like if someone uploads it on YouTube and all, they'll flag it.
So why
Uh,
release an original song on YouTube or social media? For marketing strategy?
Yes.
And so how do you then get returns for that? How do you get paid for that music that you release on YouTube or social media?
Um, from the research that I've done, it's really to direct traffic
Okay.
to
Okay.
to the platforms where you put it up on.
Right. Oh, sorry. I was under the assumption that you guys had put out original music on YouTube or social media.
No,
And you were talking from that.
I'm
Oh,
about
okay.
to,
Okay.
but not
But
yet.
you're going through a distributor
Yes.
who will police that for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Wonderful. Excellent.
And also, the one thing probably is a disadvantage here is you can't really monetize your channel on YouTube. Here in Fiji, it's
Right.
not yet available. So probably in future, hopefully, I don't know, whatever is keeping that line um, between that opportunity gets, I don't know, fixed or somehow.
Oh.
But
Okay, yeah.
but really, it's really for the purpose of marketing yourself, especially when you're not with a major label. You are your own
Yes.
manager, marketing strategist, and yeah, whatnot.
Yeah.
So it's really to direct traffic.
And so, do you have a lot of guidance from seasoned musicians here in Fiji?
Yes.
Okay.
We do.
Yeah.
I'm like personally, yes. But I don't know if you guys. Yes.
Okay. So, what kind of guidance is this? Like, what sort of support or assistance do they provide for you? Is it moral support? Is it information about certain funding or platforms that you could access to get your music out there and get a good client base? Or what sort of support in particular?
For me,
Like-
all of the above.
Okay.
Because the network that I'm part of is Road to 1 Million, and so it's very flexible, and the artists, the established artists, there are very approachable, where they advise me on all of these things.
And so, how do local musicians stay current in the face of popular Western music? And of course, everyone's got access to internet, and so these materials are quite vast. Yeah? And so, how have you been able to mitigate that in terms of your own music?
I somehow connect with the audience mostly every time. What I usually do is I usually go on live, whether I'm in a bad state or a good state, doesn't matter. But for me to connect with the audience, I have to go one by one.
Invite them to
Yeah.
that moment, like have them
So,
right there.
Okay, I don't usually say this, but I usually go on Zoom
Okay.
and I connect with them.
Wow. Okay.
So I ask them what are my
Okay.
what,
like
what should I
feedback.
do? Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
That's
I mean, it's definitely seen the huge growth in
Yeah.
your social media following.
yeah.
Yeah. And so, anyone else would like to share?
That's a really great advice. Establishing a personal connection with them. There's also layers to the question. The first one is I've been unknowingly, I've been building my following through just releasing my original material. I don't want to sound standoffish or what, but most of the materials that I upload are my originals. Only because it's hard for me to do a cover because I identify more with the writing. But I have done covers and whatnot. And I found that if you believe in the product or in the music that you're putting out, the right people will tune in, and someone out there is going to connect to it. And then establishing personal connections through what Inosy mentioned seals it even more. The second layer is probably a bit vain, but you have to see the trends, what works, what doesn't, what people like, what people don't. But then the central part, I believe, is releasing something that you're proud of. that you connect to, that you feel, that you believe, because it'll translate to to whoever listens to it, and then they will also believe it. And I think underneath the undertone now behind every successful artist is communication, like maintaining that, like going on lives and on the Zooms and whatever platforms that you can go on, is really to engage with your followers, your audience, and whatnot.
I think you've raised a lot of very good points. I think most of the time we're too focused on the number of likes or the number of clients that you have, right? And so, I mean, if you produce a piece of music that really has come from within and you like it, and you don't mind the small number of followings that you get, I think people should be content with that. And now I'd like to go on to collaborations, especially over the past couple of months with other artists, with other people from different art forms. How important do you think that is for you? Collaborating with makeup artists, collaborating with fashion designers, collaborating with whoever, whatever artist that's out there willing to collaborate to make art pieces and masterpieces and productions. And so how important is that for you as an artist in growing, in developing?
Collaboration is good. It's good. I would say it's a good idea. It's a good concept. For me, collaboration is a 50-50 kind of thing. Yeah? So, say for example, I wanted to do a shooting for my video, and then I have no settings. So I reached out to these resorts, and then I get my share. You get your promotion.
Right.
You're promoting the resort, and I'm promoting my music. So it's a good thing.
Right.
And as for collaborating with artists, it increases your knowledge of what your music is and what are you trying to do with your music. So you get to learn from each other.
Yeah.
Just piggybacking off of what he said, it's so true. Like when I joined Pacifico Voices and working with other artists, I was trying to find my sound, my voice, my genre. And it was through working with other people that I realized where my genre or where my space, my field was, which is weird because one would think that you have to figure it out first before you go into it, but it's all about learning and whatnot. And collaboration is also like here in the Pacific, the massive printing, the weaving of the mat, like how we got information and news across to each other. These things all work together. And so I feel like collaborating is part of our culture here in the Pacific. As Oceanians, it
Communal.
yeah, it's a normal thing. We're communal people, exactly.
And so how do you generate income through your music? Like, for example, you haven't
I haven't
launched.
officially launched,
Right.
so I can't really answer
Right,
that
yeah.
until I have
Has anyone ever
launched.
put out music where you can generate income? No.
I just
Wait,
do-
so all your original compositions, where do you like stream them, or how do you put them out?
we have like one song out on YouTube right now.
Right.
With we had collaborated with Only Ideas Studio.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was about it. But it was part
It
of
was a project. It was
yes,
a, oh, okay.
it was part of
Okay.
another
So
web
is that what you're
series.
doing? Just projects? You're not.
For me, since I've released a few songs
Right.
out, I put them on iTunes and this, and you get incomes out of it, right?
Right.
Because they actually buy your stuff.
Right.
But then you can't rely on that, so you have to, because that's your daily job.
Right. Yeah.
So what I usually do is I go on gigs, bookings.
That's
and
right. Okay.
That's
Just like international artists,
Yeah.
your money comes from your concerts
Yeah.
as opposed to your albums. Okay, that makes sense. And so, how have you diversified in terms of sustaining your fan base?
the more you connect with them, the more you get your feedbacks from them. That's how you maintain your standard.
Yeah.
Because they'll be looking at you from the sidelines and they'll be like, okay, so if he doesn't do anything, should we actually should follow him, or
Right.
or if they see that you're not growing with your music, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, how much are you right now paying for, in general, like just a ballpark figure of how much do you pay for recording of one music or one piece of music or original composition?
So with the producer that I worked with for my single that I'm about to launch, 300
Okay,
Fijian dollars.
right. As a student and
Yeah,
as an artist,
yeah.
is that like okay? Is that price like, is that
For me personally, I'm blessed. God has been
okay?
kind to us
Right,
financially.
right.
So I'm blessed to have like support from my parents
Okay.
and whatnot in terms of funding.
All right. I heard there was one particular studio in town that was charging close to $450 to $500. Yeah.
Okay, from my point of view, I think it's the quality of the sound,
Right.
because there are different producers with different
Hmm.
costings and stuff.
Right.
And I think it's the quality of the sound that you
Right. That you're
that
looking
they
for. So you
yeah.
know exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. You know the people that you're working with. Okay. So who are some well-established international music artists you've worked with or intending to work with?
Well, Josateki and I, we were lucky enough, as a part of Pacifica Voices, we were lucky enough to collaborate with a New Zealand artist, Vince Harder. He's pretty well known in New Zealand. He's a great musician, beautiful producer. Yes, he produced the whole thing
He did.
here
He produced
in the Oceania
Yeah.
And we actually
studio.
watched
Yes.
him do it.
Yes, we watched him do it the whole thing. It was amazing, and he works closely with Stan Walker, and I think Stan Walker and he they had they had they had put together a band, a gospel band called Gyre, and they have they sang the song. Well, they wrote the song, one of my favorite gospel songs, "Draw Me Nearer," and it was amazing to work with him. Yeah.
And before you joined, while I was with PV, we, well, sort of like collaborated. We backed up Paluni Duranavuli at the Hibiscus, one of the Hibiscus festivals. So that was
Nice.
amazing.
You know, see?
Well, I haven't collaborated with one of the international artists, but I'm looking forward to that. And I have few names on the line
Nice.
that are willing to collaborate.
Excellent. I want to talk about rehabilitation and recovery through music. And so, how important do you think music plays in rehabilitation for people who might have gone through some trauma?
For me, I would say music is it's an emotional kind of thing. You can relate to any of the emotions that you're feeling, whether you're happy, you're sad, you're trying to get better, or whatever emotions that you're feeling. For me, for instance, right after my late mom passed away, it was hard to get back to the industry. Hard back to get to the level that you were before. So with those emotions of losing her, I took that emotions and applied it to my music, and somehow it has taken me as far as I can. Yeah. So it plays a good role in rehabilitation.
Right.
Yeah? So yeah.
Music is powerful. It's powerful. It's spiritual. It's therapeutic. I write because if I it if I don't, I might die. Because like all of this, yeah, it's funny, but like when you think about it, so many things going on, and the pressure might break me. And you know, biblically, if you go into the biblical sense, God created the world through words, and so when you combine those two, music and powerful lyrics together, it's healing. It's powerful. Music can break through barriers where preaching can't, where the usually like most of the thing when we were in Micronesia, it's a very difficult place in terms of missionary work and Christian work and stuff. And so what my father did was take us, the family, my mother, two brothers, him and I, and we would do prison ministry, hospital, visiting communities. We wouldn't preach, we wouldn't say anything, we would just go and sing.
Right.
And it reaches people in a very special, powerful way.
Yes, exactly. And so, what would you say to the government of the day about seriously teaching music in schools and not just as an extracurricular activity? Like, because in 2010-11, there was a performing arts curriculum that was put out for secondary schools and primary schools. I did not see any for music. So what would your message to our authorities about really seriously teaching music as a subject in schools and not just pushing it aside as something that you do for RE or as part of PMAC, which really gets neglected most of the time?
I think they should.
Yeah.
They should push more about music in school. Because
And I believe, once they push it in school, youth or young people start to take it seriously. And like it sets the perspective that, okay, I can actually go on and make a living with this.
But the education system has changed so drastically in the past 40 to 50 years, because in the 70s and 80s and 60s, music and arts was like one of the core fabric of holistic learning in schools, and that has just changed over time because we currently push down the throats of our children these academic subjects, thinking that everyone will learn and succeed all at the same level at the same time, just because the system has been forced down on them. And we have to conform to these systems. And so when we do not provide these other opportunities for them, because it's pushed aside as a second-class subject or it's not important, kids miss out on this holistic learning.
when I started with my music career, one of my relatives, I won't say a name, but they asked me, what do you want to do for a living, or how do you see yourself in the future? What career path are you taking? And so I was like, I want to be a musician. I want to take that as a full career. And then somehow this relative mindset, I don't see a future in that. And that somehow that I took that and I hold on to that. I said, okay, you wait there.
Yeah.
You'll see me up there
Right,
sometimes.
yeah, exactly.
So
yeah,
yeah.
so true. That is so true. I think a lot of times people put too much monetary value to all these really boring work, all these other conventional ones. But
That's so true. I'm about to finish my master's thesis. While I'm doing my research, I'm also like working part-time and whatnot. One time I was marking one of the units that I was part-timing for, chemistry. Then I looked up, and then I realized I don't want to do this. Like, I don't. Of course, like, yes, I've been studying like masters in biology and whatnot, but like I don't want to be stuck in a cubicle for the rest of my life doing this.
with petri dishes.
Yeah, oh my gosh, like it's fun and all, but
Right. Yeah.
every day, and so which is why I'm grateful that for the gift of music and all.
And so, what is your message to aspiring musicians out there who are too scared to maybe tell their parents that this is something that they'd like to pursue? To our viewers who are watching this right now, what words of encouragement would you like to tell them and tell their parents about maybe pursuing music, if not professionally, but as part of holistic learning, part of their development?
So it's something we always say when we get asked that question. Go for it. It's a way of you expressing yourself. It's you. It's if it's within you. If you feel like you have this calling towards this gift, it's a gift. Go for it. That's pretty much it.
And you guys are testament to the kind of support And to the drive, first of all, your own individual and personal drive, and the support that you get from your family and friends.
I'm sure your family love you, and if they don't support you in the moment, I'm sure if they see you keep like
Yes.
striving for it, keep going for it, and they'll see that, wow, you
You're
really
good at
love
this, yeah.
you're really good at this, you really love this, okay. And if they love you, they will support you.
Right.
That's just it.
Yeah. Thank you, Dee. Any other words from the two gentlemen before we finish off?
Inosy, go first.
Okay, what I would say to the upcoming artists is don't be afraid. Okay, don't be afraid to take that step. You know, don't be afraid of falling or getting those negative comments. Those negative comments and whatsoever can be the encouragement to your success. You know, even though you don't have that financial support or anything, but along that journey of yours, you'll find those people coming just like on board, and then sooner or later you get your team somewhere up there, and then you finally realized, oh,
Yeah, you were right all along. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
so yeah, dream is
Yeah,
free.
Yeah. If you have something to say and you want to do it through music, do it. Because you just might touch someone else out there who is on the, on the verge of giving up and giving in. When you do get afraid or get scared, it's okay, because it shows that you care about the quality of work that you put out. You care about it, right? Fear. Um, don't only listen to people who only say good things about, your work. Accept the criticism. Um, work on it. Hone your craft. Get better. I have been told that I've been told by so many people, no, your voice is not good enough. You can write beautiful stuff, but it's not meant for you to sing. Yes, in the moment it hurt, and then I realized maybe they hear something that I can't. So I worked on my vocals, increasing my range, and just worked on becoming better. There'll be hurdles. Use them as stepping stones. Nothing good comes easy. Stay humble. And when you make it, you make it. Like, it's just that all that work, but when you make it, you've made it. And it'll all be worth it.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Teki. Thank you so much again for making time to be here. Thank you for your patience, and we really appreciate your experiences and stories. That's all the time we have for you today. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to find out more information about these incredibly talented artists and the programs or their projects and upcoming gigs and festivals that they're currently doing in 2021, you can go to their different social media pages. We have Inosy Vono on Facebook, we have Chosa on Facebook and also Instagram, and you can find Hehona, Hehona, on Facebook as well. Till next time, I'm your host, Jesoni. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.